Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? I am going to bring in Veronica. We're going to be talking about long term care tonight. So go get your wine, your tea. What's up, guys? I was like, let me just start doing my podcast live. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, my AirPods are dead, so unfortunately,
Oh,
it's so crazy.
it's all good.
What
All
did
good.
I do today? Like, why are my AirPods dead? Like, what's going on? Like,
It's been a productive day, I hope.
not really, but
Hi.
we. I think I just was listening to random stuff, and it's like it ran my battery down, and I haven't charged it in like 3 days, so it's
Nobody gotta
okay.
know.
It's
Nobody gotta
okay.
know.
Thank you for coming in.
Of
I
course, thank
know.
you for having me.
Did you get the kids to bed and all that good stuff,
Oh,
or?
girl, that's what husbands are for.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Yes, yes. Well, my kids are still up.
It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, but they're older, so they're relaxing and watching a movie. All of that good stuff. I want to make this like a casual conversation, nothing like
Yeah.
too crazy serious because it's like after 9 o'clock, and I'm like, let me just get my girl on. So, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do and all of that?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good evening from wherever side of the country you are. My name is Veronica Reyes. I'm a licensed financial educator, and I've been doing this for about 5 years now. I'm a full-time mom of three to a 5, 4, and soon to be 1 year old. And really, I really want us to open the conversation about something that I feel like we don't talk about, especially people our age, right?
Yeah. We don't talk about it. And you know me, I'm on the other side of seeing people who did not invest in their
Mm,
long-term care, and it's very bad. So, it's so for me, like my mission like this year is to like educate people on like how to pay for care.
right.
What's a good time to pay for to start, with the insurances and everything, because I see two
Hmm.
different sides of it. I see the families who are prepared, and I see the parents who are shocked, and I see the families who just don't care. So I guess.
Honestly, and I love to I would love for everyone to hear your perspective because at the end of the day we're just educating, but it really will not hit until you go through it yourself or you see somebody go through it, right?
Yeah, yeah. For the new people that don't know me, but a lot of the people that do know me, I am Alexandria, the care girl, and I've been a home care agency owner over 10 years. And I sit down with families and we go through a plan to help them with a home care, a health aide or a nurse that helps them. From personal injuries to home care, elderly care, special needs for children. We definitely do it all. But I would say like the elderly care side is the side where it's kind of my favorite because I started this company due to my grandmother being neglected in the home
Mm,
several times. So let me give you an example of what I'm saying with the preparedness and the unpreparedness. So you have some families, they call it what they call us the sandwich generation,
yes.
where like I'm the youngest, so my mom is like 67, she's still well, thank God. And she actually lives with me, so if
Mm,
anything happens with her, like I'll probably be the main
the
person
one.
that's gonna arrange everything. So that leads me to have the conversation with her on like, hey, what do you have in place? But you have people who have like long term, like they have cancer, or they may have dementia
Mm-hmm.
and all that, and they see that runs in their family. There's something that runs in their family, so they are trying to like say, well, what if I need care one day? Like it was crazy getting my mom or dad care, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe what if that happens to me, and I don't
It's
want to
our
like.
turn. What if it's our turn?
Yeah, what if it's your turn, right? So I've seen to where like families have policies that are stacked, which
Mm,
is very, very smart. It can be expensive maybe, but if you get your policies early enough, it just goes
cheap.
within your budget, and we'll talk more about that on the
Mm-hmm.
different kinds that you guys offer. But this is a conversation that a lot of people ask me about. I'm not an insurance agent. Maybe one day. I know you're trying to convince me to do it one day,
We're
but
not
I
convincing,
just said,
we're recruiting. We're
look, you're
enrolling you,
recruiting me.
girl.
You're trying to
Mm-hmm.
recruit me. But
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to bring an expert on because there's so many questions around it. But like I said, like I see the families like they don't prepare. So you're walking into a scene where everybody's working. People are rearing small children, and they don't have the means to pay for
Right.
mom's care. So they're asking me like, okay, well, how much is care? They're like thinking like $15 an hour. I'm like,
Oh no,
baby,
girl.
no, it's $30 to $35 an hour. Like,
And
who are you paying $15?
that's in Georgia. I live in California, so you can imagine what that looks like, right?
How much is that there?
Honestly, assisted living can be minimum like 7 to 15
10,
thousand a
10.
month, and that's not even for a
Mm-hmm.
private room.
Yeah. Oh, that's shared. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got the fee-fees up there.
Not even.
Um, But no, here, like maybe a personal care home. And for those who don't know what a personal care home is basically when that person needs total care or like assisted living
Mm,
care, or I'm busy, I can't stop and take care of my parent because
right.
I have a very high career, or we don't have the money to do it, so we're gonna have to use Medicaid to put mom into a facility to receive care, right? But there's still gonna be an out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
What people don't know and don't understand, and they think that they can place mom or dad in a nursing home, and that's fine, but the care is going to be low quality. um
Right.
so there's that. And I think that we definitely, I get it, there are family dynamics to where like, hey, you may be adopted, you don't care about your birth parents or whatever, but what if you care about your adopted parents, right? Like, so I mean, because we got to be real, like there's single parent mom homes, like I care about my mom, but I don't care what happens
Right.
to my dad. Like, so the parent,
Right.
so because I got a lot of slack on Threads one day, and one lady was like, "Yeah, well, I don't care about my parents," and I'm like, "Well, this is for
Right.
the people that care. And then it
Right.
also they care about themselves. The people that care about themselves. Like, let's talk about like how, like if you were looking at a busy professional, like what age do you think somebody should invest in long term care, and then give
Oh,
us the
like
different like
today.
tiers.
Like today.
Break
Right?
it down for us, girl.
Because really, the reality is we are just getting older, we're living longer, right? With medical advancements, women tend to live longer than men. And you have to ask yourself, what will that look like when it's your time? Because really, the reality is 70% of Americans age 65 and over will need some form of long term care in their life. And
Right.
really, people think that long term care is such a rare event, but it's really a retirement reality. Because when you think about retiring and getting older, you have to make sure you don't outlive your money, your assets. And
People
really, what
do.
they do, and they don't think about the risk. So when you're retired, you have to think about market risk, inflation risk, longevity risk. And again, the thing that people don't talk about is healthcare cost risk because it's just rising,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, it's rising. It's rising. So what would that look like for a healthy 37-year-old like myself? Like what would a plan look like for me? I know there's the traditional route. Or do you do the traditional and hybrid?
Yes, there's hybrid ones, so we can, talk about what the cost looks like. But if you don't mind, I really kind of want to talk about what is long-term care and how it
Yes, yes. Let's talk
differentiates
about
from
that.
healthcare. Because
Mm-hmm.
people are like, "Oh, I'll rely on Medicare." Okay, well, do you know what Medicare can do for you?
Come
No.
on, break it down. Break.
Let's
Coming from
let's
an insurance agent, because I have so many people that call me. Do you take Medicare? I'm like, Medicare doesn't pay for personal care. It does not pay for home care.
Right. So what is long-term care? Let's define that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's if you lose the ability to do two out of the six activities of daily living for at least 90 days, or obviously if you're cognitively impaired. So if you cannot feed yourself, bathe, transfer, toilet, take medicine, get dressed, who is going to do that? Right? Because if you think about the different coverages, really there's three main coverages. Medicare. So, of course, you have to be qualified depending on age, and it
Mm-hmm.
may cover a portion of long term care for up to 100 days. After
Right.
that, like you said, it's out of pocket. And usually it requires like a 3-day hospital stay consecutively and other qualifiers. So just
Right.
because you may, get the Medicare, maybe they may not give you as much. And we all know they're slashing Medicare right now, right? There's also Medicaid, right? Which covers long term care, but those are really for people who are low income, who have really low assets. So we know of a client where she had to transfer her assets in her son's name. So on
Mm-hmm.
paper, it looks like she has nothing. Otherwise, I mean, if you're below 65, you can't get Medicare, right?
Mm-mm.
And also long term disability insurance, which is great. And it covers working people and insures a portion of their salary due to disability. But that's for working people. What happens
Right.
when you're retired? Right. So at the
Right.
end of the day, we have to really think about healthcare versus custodial care. Because really,
Right.
healthcare is, again, it's acute,
Yeah.
right? Long
Yeah.
term care is long term. So
Yeah.
who's going to do
And
that?
it's I think a lot of people are very afraid of long term care because of the you have the traditional plan to where you if you don't
Right.
use it you lose it, like, so that
I
does
can't
not,
wait to talk about that one.
right, that doesn't transfer, that money does not transfer over to wealth for when you pass away if you don't use
Right.
it, right, and then there's
Right.
certain qualifiers that activate that policy, right. Am I
Mm-hmm.
right on that? I'm
You're
just I'm
right.
just
You're
trying to
you're
speak
right.
your language,
No,
you know.
because we hear a lot of, comparisons. And really, you can compare at the end of the day, but it's not a matter of if it happens to you, it's a matter of when. And really, how do you want to react to that, or just have a plan in place so you don't have to, risk it, right? Because
Yeah.
really, when we talk about the cost, right, most people think nursing home when they think of long-term care.
Always. Always.
But in reality, the majority of care happens in our home.
Yeah.
So, like you said, grandma had a hip surgery. People have to take time off work. And what if they don't have family members? What if people have their own lives or they can't miss work? Right. So, really, I actually pulled up some stats because according to the
Go ahead.
federal
Yeah.
long term care insurance program, really, when it comes to, again, yes, exactly, nurses in finance, proactive over reactive at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because home care, so like home health aid, right? That's around $51,000 a year or $4,200 a month.
Yep.
And that's paying somebody $33 an hour. Let's say that's the national average, right? Assisted living, 66,000 a year or 5,500 a month. Nursing home, semi-private, $112,420 a year
Mm-hmm. That's
or
somebody's
almost
salary.
$10,000.
That's somebody's
Exactly.
salary. Yeah.
Exactly. So again, do you want to have to react to that? Because oftentimes, especially for us younger people, we think we're invincible, right? Or we'll think,
Always.
I'll self-insure. Maybe I won't have to worry about it. Maybe later. But there's
Mm-hmm.
always the saying, it pays to delay,
Right.
right?
Yeah. And it's and like I said, I'm on the side of it where I'm sitting in front of the families, and I have families with the policies. Like, I had a cancer patient who probably gonna beat it, right, but her son was a high level executive, and he was like,
Hmm.
oh, just send us the invoice. We're gonna pay it cash, but we're
That's
gonna just we're
great for
gonna we're gonna
them.
we're gonna send it, but we're gonna send it to Aflac, or we're gonna send it
Hmm.
to whatever,
Hmm.
because she has a cancer policy that she's been paying into for years, whatever, right? And then she had the long term care plan. And she had, like, it was like four different insurances, and I'm like, you're prepared, but guess what? He didn't have to worry because
Exactly.
he thought in advance they actually sat down, and I'm just trying to have people have the conversation way earlier for yourself, and also what can we do for, like, and we'll talk about, like, if there's is there any hope for someone that's a
Of
little bit older,
course.
you
Of
know
course there is. And I feel like by the time they talk to you, I don't want to say it's too late, but it's going to cost you, right? Because when you talk about it at the end of the day, insurance is a transfer of risk. So if you have all these comorbidities and you expect an insurance company to dish out $10,000 a month hoping that, you will live long, what is that mortality and morbidity risk? At the end of the day, it is a business,
right.
right?
It is a business. It is a business. So I mean, the because a lot of times people are like thinking we can get Medicaid, we can get this, we can get that, and I see a lot of times people are waiting on disability, they're waiting on veterans pay,
Mm.
they're waiting on all these different policies when you have a qualifying event in long term care that happens, boom, your long term care is activated.
And
It's just it's that easy.
Goggins said many patients have no choice but to sell their home. Isn't that crazy? They tell
Mm-hmm.
us go to school, get a good job, work hard, save money, and have all these things. And then at the end of the day, if we're not prepared, I have to sell my house.
Yeah, or do it. They do reverse mortgages. Yep, they
Yeah, or
do.
reverse
Yep. Or
mortgages.
they sell all of the assets. You know, and it's so many ways. It's so many ways. Like I said, but like, what is the age? Like, what do you feel like? Maybe like 45-ish, 50-ish.
I want to say, especially if you're in your 30s, today is the day. Because that's when you're the
Yeah.
healthiest, nothing's wrong with you, and you don't even have to be older to qualify for long-term care. What if we get, knock on wood, into an accident,
Right.
right?
Oh, so this high. Can you tell us about the traditional versus the hybrid version? That way we know
Yeah.
what both are.
So usually traditionals is, again, like you say, you, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's kind of like, how we have car insurance, health insurance. We pay premium into it, hoping we never have to, use it. But at the end of the day, that premium just goes to the company. You really don't see it back. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So really,
Mm-hmm.
again, why the planning matters before I go into the solutions is that people build their financial foundation upside down. Yes, get that money. Yes, have an
Versus.
emergency fund. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
control your debt. But if you don't have proper protection, that income replacement plan, Alexandria, then you have to dip into all of that anyways.
Yep.
So why don't you transfer the risk? Because when you see people who are financially literate or successful, they just know how to leverage their money to protect it, not have
Yep.
to use their own money at the end of the day. Because why
Yeah.
pay $10,000 out of my own retirement, my own pocket, when I can transfer that risk to the insurance company?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah. I
wonder
mean,
why the rich get richer and poor get poorer, right?
yeah. I mean, if you have have an event and then you have to use all your savings to for something that you could have tapped into one of your policies on,
Exactly. And then you got to sell your
it just
house.
makes no sense. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that you probably didn't even pay off. So it's, I mean, how much you gonna get of that? Because you're in
Exactly.
a 30-year mortgage, it's like it's a lot. It's a
And you
lot.
work too dang hard for that mortgage, okay?
You work too dang hard for it. So tell us about the policies and
Yes. So there's hybrid
what are they for?
policies that
Mm-hmm.
life insurance comes with long-term care and living benefits. So some of these things can be temporary, which maybe max 30 years, or
Mm-hmm.
also there's permanent ones where it follows you forever and you don't have to worry. And again, there's policies with return of premium features. So again, if you don't use it, it goes to your beneficiary. There's going to be a death benefit. So you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about, oh, well, it's just my money going to waste. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I
Mm-hmm.
said there's return of premium. If you don't like it, there's companies out there that we partner up with where you get your money back,
Okay.
which is, yes,
Well,
which is
that's
awesome.
good.
So
That's
again, it pays a death benefit if care isn't needed, and it allows flexibility in how the funds are used.
Right.
Because when it comes to certain long-term care plans, sometimes you have to submit receipts for everything, and
Yeah.
then they tell you how much money you get each
Mm.
month,
And so
right?
you're not getting fully. Are you fully getting reimbursed, or are you doing like an 80% type situation?
It depends. So that's why I'm proud to say that we partner up with A plus companies that allow people to just do what they need to with the money, whether it's nursing home, private care, or even paying a family member. Because if you think about it, you see this, I've experienced this where we all have to pitch in,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then when it comes to pitching in, what if I can't afford to take the time off work? What if I don't get the PTO? Well, now if my family member pays for me to be there, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I like the new flexibility because I've been in like I said, I've been in the industry over a decade, so I've seen the inflexibility of it, and I love that now. It's looked it's better with the hybrid
Oh
version
yeah.
because the traditional I feel it had people scared, and then a lot of times people were saying that they had very difficult way. It was very difficult
Mm-hmm.
to get the money for when
Yes.
they needed care, and
Yes.
that's the thing that I want to partner with companies that actually can get the people what they need versus like it's like you know putting your nails on the wall like like I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do that. So I that's my main thing on it and educating people like on on how to do it and what to do it. Can you tell us like how like on with a healthy person like
Mm-hmm.
how like what's that process? Do they have to get an assessment done on like
Oh
one on
yeah.
one done and all that?
Yeah. So it depends on your health. If you're absolutely healthy, they just kind of look at the Medical Information Bureau. And then if you don't need to get labs done, they just kind of go through the Medical Information Bureau and approve you. But if you say on the application you have a history of diabetes or maybe, high cholesterol, then maybe you would have to get labs done. But most companies these days tend to not really need the medical unless, again, we wait and we develop comorbidities, asthma, diabetes, hypertension,
Mm-hmm.
CHF, those things that are kind of like trigger words like, oh no.
Right.
Because when you have heart failure, it affects the whole body system.
Yeah. And your heart can feel it in a moment. So it's
Exactly. And
so
that too.
yeah, I
Yes.
mean, because it's they're taking on that risk, and then
Yes, correct.
yeah, I love that. I love that. So for a pretty healthy person, what kind of fee are they looking to pay every month?
For
Well,
me, I can
we're
use.
not even gonna say fee. We're gonna say
No,
investment.
it's a contribution,
Yeah,
right? Because when you
contribution.
say contribution, it pays you in return more than you put in at the end of the day. So let's
Right.
say for me, I have a term with living benefits. So it includes chronic and critical illness. I applied when I was 29 years old, healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that looked like for 30 years for $600,000 in coverage, $34 a month. Okay.
That's doable. That's doable.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then for one of the more permanent policies that I have, this is what I like. I practice what I preach because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, we believe in what it is that we do and we truly believe it helps people, right?
Yeah.
Whether you see that today, your future self will thank you later,
Yeah.
right?
I love that.
Because if you think about it, when we get older, who do you want to rely on? The
Mm-hmm.
government. Is Social Security going to even be around when
Right.
we're older? Are we going to hope that, the market is good so our retirement funds don't get drained quicker? Are we going to rely on our adult children? And I'm sure you can kind of see the strain that causes on the family,
Oh,
right?
it's
When
bad. It's
when
bad.
when
Yeah.
when people
Yeah.
again, obviously our parents expect us to take care of them, but at the same time, we don't owe them anything.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a
Yeah.
very real conversation that people are having today, call it selfish or not. But at least for me, one, I know my butt is not going to be in a nursing home. And two, I don't want to have to leave my kids to figure out what happens to me, especially since I know better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think preventative is the best case scenario.
Yes.
Let's say something happens, before you're elderly. Let's say you've been paying into this and you have a cancer diagnosis and you
Oh,
need to
yeah.
are you able to pull money from that
Correct.
policy?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I can honestly have peace of mind. That's something that you can't buy, right? If I were to hit knock on wood, if I were to get hit by a bus, like when I walk out of this building, I know my family will be okay. Because when you think of GoFundMe's, Alexandria, people get it when someone passes away. And what's
Yeah.
the likelihood that someone's eventually gonna pass away?
Mm-hmm.
100%.
I mean tomorrow. I mean anytime, any day. Like
Anytime.
literally, like it's been so crazy. From what I've been seeing, like every time I go on like Facebook, I guess that's like the place people just put like so many people
Yes.
like, oh, this person died or that person. I'm like, wow, we're the same age or wow, they're younger than me.
Right.
Like I've been
Right.
seeing it, and then and nothing against the GoFundmes. I don't know, like it may be
No,
different
but do you
reasons
want
why
to
they need it.
do you want to count on that as a solution, right?
Right.
Because I remember the founder of GoFundMe was like, I'm basically running a company where if you're not popular enough, you die. What if you don't get enough donations? How are you
Yeah.
going to live? Right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't stop at just healthcare. What about the mortgage, the groceries, the
Mm-hmm.
kids, the college? Really, the luxury here is choice. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we fail to prepare, we won't have a choice. I have a lot
Yeah.
of people telling me, oh, this, oh, that. I was like, well, you can't be choosy when you can't qualify later on. And it's kind of like a bad I told you so. And we never want to say I told you so, but we only
Yeah.
do what we can to educate,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. I totally 100% agree with you. Like I said, I'm on I'm on the side, like I'm like sitting here, I'm like with my like, okay, so how are you all gonna pay for the care? I'm on the phone or I'm like
Mm,
sitting there in front of them.
mm-hmm,
You'll have a long term care policy. They're like, what is a long term care? I'm like, this is gonna be
mm.
a long night.
And you're kind of like,
Um
uh-huh, uh-huh,
and
uh-huh.
so that's like $8,000 a month.
Mm,
And then don't if you need 24-hour care, you're looking at 10K
exactly.
plus a month. You're looking at 10
Exactly.
facilities. Let's say that person is total care, you're looking at if they go into a facility, you're looking at 10K plus as well. I had a
Yes.
client that just transitioned who was memory care, which is a high level care. And she was paying
Mm-hmm.
the facility 10K plus. We were private pay coming in because the facility said, hey, we can no longer handle her. She's two-person assist. So we had to come in to assist her. She was paying my company almost 7K a month plus the
Wow.
10K. But her mom she had a pension. She
Mm.
had this, she had that. She probably had long term care insurance. So she had these different things to pull from, but she was running out of money because her mom was
Mm.
outliving. She was
Again,
outliving
yeah.
all of these policies. And she was
Right.
like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if she don't die.
Again, we're
I
living
mean, because she
longer.
literally was on hospice, like, but she was like lit out living everything, and it was just like it
That's
was
crazy.
crazy. In my opinion, I would have took her home, let her pass successfully at home, but some people that's too much for them. They don't want that. So in that
Right.
case, that person should have those policies and this and that because other than that, they're gonna give you 30 days and your parent gonna have to go somewhere.
That's crazy.
You got 30 days. You can't pay anymore, you gotta get the heck on. And
That's
that's
crazy.
the reality. And that's the reality, and some people like they keep their parent with them and they're unattended. Right. So, you can only pay for 4 hours of care a day. Hospice only covers um a nurse that comes once every like 3 days or something like that. You get
Mm-hmm.
a home health aide every day, 5 days a week, that comes in for an hour just for a bath. Right. They cover your hospital bed, and that's Medicare. That's Medicare. And there are special cases where Medicare will cover somebody that's less than 65
Right.
years old.
Right.
Like I met a guy who was on Medicare. I was like, what the heck did you get Medicare? But he had like kidney failure, this and that. So he was
But
dying.
again, it
Basically,
has to come to that, right?
yeah. But he still had to have money to pay for like a retirement community
Mm.
that he was in because nobody wanted to deal with
That's
him.
crazy.
His family, nobody wanted like, you have that too. Like you're single and you're by yourself and nobody wants to take care of you
Yes.
because you didn't take care of them. Like you have that too. So if you want to just be like that in your life, you need to make sure you have a plan. You need,
Exactly. Because some people are like, well, I don't have kids. I don't need life insurance to pass any money on. But again, exactly. That's why you need that, especially the living benefits, because who is going to take care of you?
yeah, exactly. And that way you can tap into it, or have somebody oversee it if you're incapacitated or whatever. And
Right.
it's a lot of uproar. Like people are saying they want to do I forgot the term of it, but I think it's like assisted, like death, like they're gonna like kill themselves. I don't know.
Oh my
What is that called?
God.
I can't
Euthanasia?
remember. Yeah, they're using that now. So it's a lot DNR, because people just like, I don't want to have to pay for care. Like I don't want my family to
And that's a
suffer.
sad reality,
Yeah, but
right?
other countries, I put on my threads the other day, how other countries handle care. I believe like it's like Japan, like requires the adult child to like come and see their adult parent like once
Oh,
every like so often, like it's a law. Like we definitely have to do better in the USA, to really really care for our elderly
yeah,
more.
be more collaborative,
Yeah, be more
right?
collaborative and all of that. But I just feel like this conversation needs to be had, like even for like my age and up, because if
Yes.
there's a hybrid policy to where like you get some type of illness, look at how COVID had people, and then people are still like not able to work because they have long
The
COVID,
lingering effects. Yes,
the
some people
lingering
I know are
effects.
on oxygen permanently.
Mm-hmm. So that I mean, would that be a qualifying event? To, hey, I might need to tap into that.
We have to just ask. At the end of the day, it's about, again, just asking the underwriter what's the risk like. And again, just
Yeah,
doing something before you need it. If you
yeah,
think you don't need it, that is the time you apply for it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because if you
Absolutely.
think about it, you're working right now, you're actively making income. And really, in the United States today, some people live paycheck to paycheck and cannot afford a month without steady pay. If they miss
Yeah.
a paycheck, they're in the red. So
I
imagine
mean,
when you're
that's like
retired.
90% of people, though.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine when you're
Yeah.
retired, you're not making active income anymore. You're hoping to stretch out your retirement funds. Again, not guaranteed that the amount will be there because again, it's tied to the stock market. So
Mm-hmm.
imagine in 2008 when it went down negative 40. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? I would again maybe euthanize me because that is terrible. That's terrible. So you have
Yeah.
to ask yourself again,
Yeah.
it's not to scare you, but again, it's better to just be proactive at the end
Yeah.
of the day,
It is.
right?
It's better to be proactive. Can tell everybody where they can find you
Oh
and get a
yes.
policy and all that good stuff. Yes, yes.
So you can find me obviously on my Instagram, and you can DM Alexandria because we will be working very closely together. Because again, we educate, and at the end of the day, education is powerful, but it's more powerful when you apply it,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, like I'm sitting like I'm a fly on the wall in these conversations daily, and if I had $10 every time, but I'm not gonna say $100 every time somebody said they did
Mm,
not know Medicare didn't pay for care, in home
yes.
care, or they did not know like that care costs this amount of money, like. I would be rich right now. Like I would be I would be a big
Retired.
trillionaire.
I'll be
I
a
would be a trillionaire, like for real. Like Lord, $100 every time a person calls me now. Okay, so maybe that'll show up in my bank account. But I'm just saying, like it's that like it's such a learning curve there, and
hmm
that's why I say get with experts like you, because the thing is, just have the conversation. Now
That's
it may
it.
be too late for the guy who has been diagnosed with the
Right.
congestive heart failure and all this and all that. You just go ahead and get your other policies that you can write, right?
Right.
And then we need to just talk about creating a creative type of transitional plan for care, which I can help with that. But for 30 and up, even younger than
I
that, you
mean,
can actually be taxed.
honestly,
You could be
25,
yeah.
23. As long as you got a job and you're contributing to
Mm-hmm.
society, please have a plan in place. My kids have their own policies as soon as they
Yeah.
got a social. Okay?
Look, I love it. I love it. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, I thank you for coming on, and like I said, we'll probably be having more conversations as
Yes.
questions come up, because it's so important to know what's happening in the industry, and I want us to bring an expert on
Thank you.
and talk about more long-term care, because a lot of times people don't know about it. And you guys, I will say this on this page, and I'll put it up on my other platforms as well. Make sure you follow Veronica,
Thank
and
you.
get your policy through her and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. And if you have questions, ask her. Ask me about care, any type of care transition,
Yes.
any type of home care. And y'all have a good night.
Good night. And I also just want to leave off with this, Alexandria.
Yeah.
Long term care insurance isn't just about protecting your money, but it protects your family from becoming the plan.
I love that. I
So
love that.
I'm
Let's
going to leave you off
see.
with
Yes. Woo!
that.
Thank you
Good
so
night,
much.
everybody. Have a good
Good
night.
night.